Indiana just snatched control of this series, and now OKC have their back against the wall going into Game 4. Last night in Game 3, the Indiana Pacers beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 116-107 to go up 2-1 in the NBA Finals over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this is quite surprising, as a lot of teams had this Indiana Pacers team counted out before the series had even started. A lot of people were saying Thunder in 5, some people were even saying Thunder in 4. And now Indiana has complete control of this series, as they have now gone up 2-1 in the series. And last night, Indiana just put on a master class at home in front of their home crowd. They looked way better. They weren't making as many turnovers, and those role players played 10 times better than they did in the first 2 games. This was a huge reason as to why Indiana ended up winning. But before I get too deep in the video, make sure you leave a like on this video because I know you're going to enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Dropping content like this all finals, but let's get right back into the video. The Indiana Pacers put on a complete master class in front of their home crowd. From the offensive side, they were executing at a high level. Very nice passes. Tyrese Halliburton came out very aggressive. TJ McConnell was able to come in and provide some support when Tyrese went to the bench. That offense just looked like a well-oiled machine. When Tyrese Halliburton is aggressive, the Pacers look like a completely different team. And that's exactly what you saw. Then you go on the defensive side of the ball, and the way they defended OKC was phenomenal. They were making sure shooters didn't get open looks, very tight defense and all types of pick and rolls with the way they were hedging and coming up off of screens, and making sure Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wasn't able to do Shai Gilgeous-Alexander things. They were denying Shai very heavy off the ball, and when the pick and roll would come, they would do something to either force Shai to get the ball out of his hands, whether that was throwing a defender at him, or they would not allow Shai to get to a spot, and he would end up passing the ball anyway. And this is a big reason as to why Shai did not have that good of a game last night. And then, with the style of play that Indiana plays, they were running up and down the court all game long. And this very obviously had OKC exhausted down the stretch. Now, the game started off close. OKC was actually up, but it was a back-and-forth battle. But then the second quarter came, and it seems like, though, so far this series, the second quarter is what makes or breaks a team's chances to win the game in the finals. The Pacers did what they usually did. Tyrese Halliburton went to the bench, but this time the Pacers actually played pretty well. Majority of this is due to how great TJ McConnell played. He only had about like 2 points, I think, at this point, but with the way he was putting pressure on the OKC defense, creating looks for other players, and being able to just force OKC's defense to adjust to him, which then in turn would leave people like Benedict Mathurin, Obi Toppin, Pascal Siakam, and whoever was on the floor to get good opportunity. Benedict Mathurin came out and he had a phenomenal game, 27 points, and that was a huge boost for Indiana. I mean, the main reason why Indiana won this game was because of how well their role players played. They outscored OKC's bench by a wide margin. And this is pretty surprising considering that OKC has one of the deepest teams in the entire NBA. But it didn't look like that in Game 3. Now, if we're talking about the actual game from the OKC perspective, I mean, OKC just didn't look like themselves. They started off the game really strong, but it was evident that J-Dub wasn't going to be the best to this game. He wasn't really able to get to his spots and create certain looks for himself, and therefore when he would get tunnel vision and try to force things, it really limited OKC's ability to score in the half court. Chet came out and played really well in the first quarter, and that's a big reason why they were up. He was defending at a high level, whether it be off of switches or in the paint, and on the offensive end, he was just making key plays, whether it be getting to the rim or making shots. This is a huge reason as to why OKC looked like they were going to win this game to start off. But as we go down the game and we get to second quarter and third quarter, Chet fell off a cliff. And then you have for J-Dub. J-Dub actually had a really impressive third quarter. He was aggressive. He was getting to his spots, and he was making his shots, which is very nice. And then, of course, he was providing the same things on the defensive end that he usually provides. I mean, it's J-Dub. We all know what he can do. But once it comes to that fourth quarter, J-Dub wasn't playing real well, and Chet was just over here getting bullied. I mean, I think the most critical possession that everybody's going to remember is when Chet had tried to shoot a three, and his release is just so slow. And Miles Turner was able to recover and block it. And then he was trying to drive. He tried to put his body into Miles Turner. Miles Turner blocks it. And there you have OKC turnover going the other way for the Pacers. And Obi Toppin would get a big putback dunk a couple possessions later, and that essentially was the game. Now, a lot of people are wondering, should the OKC Thunder be worried? And in my opinion, I think they should be a little worried. So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 things that I believe the Thunder need to do if they want to win Game 4 so they don't go down 3-1 in the series, because we know what happens when you go down 3-1 unless you have the greatest player of all time playing for your team. And that's not what OKC has at this point in time. The first thing that OKC has to do is just not allow that offense to get stagnant down the stretch of games. I mean, this is something that they've struggled with all playoffs long. It seems like at a certain point, the offense just gets stagnant and it's just like, Shea, you have to make a play for us, because if you can't make a play for us, then we don't have anything. Coach Mark needs to sit up here and draw some plays or do something to allow this offense to be flourishing and be elite. I mean, you see what the Pacers do. They have a lot of ball movement, a lot of off-ball movement from players, and that's a good reason as to why they get so many open shots and good opportunities, whether it be behind the three-point line or inside the paint, because they're always moving. They have sets and plays that they're running. The Thunder clearly aren't doing this, and this is a big reason as to why down the stretch they become kind of predictable and teams are able to defend them. And the OKC has way too many weapons. They have way too many positive players who are very high IQ to have an offense that's just stagnant and revolves around Shea doing something. That's not how you're going to win, and you're definitely not going to beat the Indiana Pacers doing something like that. The second thing that the Thunder need to do if they want to have a shot in Game 4 is they have to play a cleaner brand of basketball. Last night, we saw a lot of uncharacteristic things from OKC. They had 17 turnovers. Typically, they're winning the turnover battle. Last night, they lost. Indiana did only turn the ball over, I want to say 13 times, and OKC turned it over 17 times. This is getting the ball out of your hands and allowing Indiana to gain momentum. And defensively, they were even worse. They allowed a lot of shots that they weren't giving up in Game 1 or 2 to Indiana, and this is what led to Indiana having so many opportunities to score and up the lead and do all these different type of things, because OKC just looked sloppy. They didn't really look like they were really prepared for Game 3, whether it be physically or mentally. Something was off, and this cannot happen in Game 4. You have to bring out your best in Game 4, and you have to be prepared for the Pacers to play their best brand of basketball, and the only way you can do that is if you are playing your best brand of basketball as well. So they need to limit the turnovers, and they need to get acclimated to Indiana's style of play. The third thing is that this bench has to show up in Game 4. We saw what happens with the Pacers and what they were able to do last night. They didn't win because or solely because of the way Tyrese played or the way Pascal played. Now, granted, they did have 2 really great games, and they were a big boost for the Pacers last night. But the way this bench played as a whole, Benedict Mathurin, Ben Shepherd, TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, the way the Pacers bench played was a huge reason as to why they won last night. And it wasn't just how they played. It was how bad the OKC bench played. Outside of Isaiah Joe, nobody really showed up. Not even Alex Caruso gave them really much production off the bench. Cason Wallace didn't really play very well either. And I think it's time that they're going to have to make some adjustments to that lineup. And the final thing that OKC needs to do is go back to the double big lineup. You have to make some lineup adjustments after this game, because as we saw in Game 3 and even partially in Game 1, the double big lineup works. But when you go away from it, that's when Indiana truly feels like they can take advantage of you. And on top of that, Isaiah Hartenstein hasn't even shown to be a negative. I know there's concerns about how gassed he might get, how tired he might get, how Indiana might take advantage of him on the offensive side of the floor. But until they show that to you, take Isaiah Hartenstein and put him in the game and let him be what he has been so far in the series. He's been very good offensively. He's been punishing Miles Turner, punishing Pascal Siakam, and just being a positive player out there on the court. When him and Chet are out there, Chet doesn't have to sit up here and be some overly physical kind of guy, because Isaiah Hartenstein is right there doing everything that Chet doesn't have to do. This allows Chet to be more free with his game, and it allows OKC to be more dangerous on both sides of the floor. So stop going away from what you know, coach, and stop overthinking it and put the double bigs back out there, because it works. Now, from Indiana's perspective, there are some things that I think they need to look out for. I mean, the main thing is the fact that OKC played one of its sloppiest games, and they were very gassed last night. That is a big reason as to why you won, because OKC played a very uncharacteristic game. So now in game 4 of OKC comes out and they play like the OKC that we know, and you guys aren't able to be as free, moving, and as successful with a lot of things that worked for you in game 3. What is the move from this? How do you adjust to these things? I think that's something that the Pacers should have in the back of their mind going into game 4, because game 4, I do not think you're going to get the same OKC team that you got tonight. But with that being said, OKC didn't play very well and Indiana did well. It's the finals. Every game matters, and last night mattered whether OKC played bad or not. Indiana took advantage of it. Indiana had to keep on playing this way. Specifically, Tyrese Halliburton has to continue to be aggressive because, like I've said, when Tyrese Halliburton is aggressive, then the Pacers are even better than what we are able to see from them throughout the playoffs. They are one of the best teams in the entire NBA. So Tyrese has to stay aggressive. Indiana has to keep on doing whatever they're doing and adjusting on the fly. And Rick Carlisle just keep on making these coaching adjustments, because just like we've seen in the Eastern Conference Finals and all throughout the playoffs, Rick Carlisle is putting on a coaching clinic, and I love to see it. Now, fortunately for OKC, I wouldn't be too worried. I wouldn't really panic that much if I was them, because this is the same predicament you were in just a couple series ago versus Denver. You've already seen some kind of adversity. You've already been in the closer games. So this isn't anything new to you. This isn't foreign territory. You're just in the same predicament that you were previously. So just keep on doing the things that work. Come out differently. Come out as the OKC that we know you guys to be in game 4, and I think you'll be fine. So although I know the graphic about teams who go up 2-1 and win game 3 typically go on to win the series, we are not talking about a regular series right here, and we're not talking about two teams who are normal. This series isn't normal at all. This is all I have for now. I really hope OKC can win game 4 so we can see a very competitive series, and this series can go as far as we want it to go. But that's all I have for now. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Until next time, peace.